Morning guys, so day 3, unfortunately we still don't have any sort of update on the damaged unit, but after being able to sit down and sort of scratch my head a little bit last night and while I was doing my video editing and some some piece of what I've decided to do is obviously we've got the measurements, so we know how far from that corner our unit's got to be. So the plan is we're going to get that one in, get them all in position. We're going to fix that one to the wall, and we're just going to fix that one to the cabinet. We can then get the dishwasher in with our decor panel, basically build that corner. I'm going to put some timber batten across as a worktop support where needed as well, so I can put sort of a piece here round to there. That way I can potentially fit the worktops, and if I can then just unscrew that unit when the new one comes, we can cut the back out to allow for the pipe work. We can pull that unit out, we can keep the feet low, potentially slide the unit in, jack it up in place, roughly get it where it needs to be, push that unit back in, get it secured back in, pull the unit over, get it all fixed in. It's going to be a bit of a faff, but otherwise it means putting off and me having to effectively rearrange my entire diary to try and work this job in with other jobs, and it'd end up being a problem. So what I'm planning to do is get as much as I can done this week, just keep going, get the wall units up, get all the other units up, get it all finished, and then, like I say, just pull that unit out. I'm going to have to, it's not going to be easy. I'm in no delusion that I'm going to get it done easily, but because the job next week that starts on Tuesday is another kitchen for Howden's one, so Tuesday will be the rip out, and then Wednesday and Thursday I think I've got a sparky, or the client's got a sparky going in to rewire the oven feed, and then I've got a plasterer going in on the Wednesday I believe, or the Thursday. So there's 2 days where I won't be on site because obviously I can't get on, so we can be back here finishing this off. So it's a bit of a mucking fuddle, but we will persevere. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to get stuck back in, try and get these units leveled up, and we'll see you in a bit. Okay, so we are getting bits done. It's far from ideal with the way we're having to work. Still got the dishwasher to sort out. I've been concentrating on the hob, the unit next to it, and the larder unit for the ovens. So this is where we're at. So we've got that one. This is all the handleless system. So you've got these metal trims which you have to have spaced off with your decor, the thickness of your door. So these just get screwed in as normal with your 30mm screws. And then you have this timber batten. Now, in my experience, they used to put at least 3. They used to have one there, like that, and you'd have another one in the middle, and then you'd have another one. But for some strange reason, they've only supplied us enough to do one there and none here. So it's not ideal, and you secure them using 60mm screws going through this cabinet, through the void and into the decor panel, and that's how they're secured on. So in here I've just countersunk them, 2 at the top, a few in the middle section and 1 at the bottom. So I'm going to screw this on now with some 50mm screws, get that screwed on, pilot it first, because if you don't they just split because it's only MDF. So we're going to pilot that one, and then we can get the decor panel in here and get it scribed and get that fitted and get that secured in. And then there's a bridging unit, and then there's like a decor panel down here with some fillers and stuff. So if I can get all that done, at least then we can then throw it a latex in the floor there for them, which we've bought, which I had left over from another job, just so that we can level the floor a little bit so the machine, the fridge goes in a bit easier. I've got to put this earth clamp on, which was never connected, so that's still got to be connected. And then once that's all done, once I'm finished here, I will then work on this section with the dishwasher. Need to figure out how I'm going to do that yet, because normally, obviously I'd have the bloody corner unit in and I'd have something to sort of work to get me levels across and get me lines across. Plus this is a handleless system, so I need to make sure that the dishwasher door is a small one, not a full height one. It should be a small one. I've got to check the appliance door pack in a minute. because obviously you're not raising the dishwasher off the floor as much as you would normally. You're actually only raising it off the floor a minimal amount. So I need to make sure that that isn't dropping the door too low and stuff like that. So we need to make sure everything's going to line up before we go throwing everything in and just hoping for the best, as they say. But anyway, stay tuned and we'll see how things progress. I'll see you in a bit. Alright, so that's that filler or spacer in place. So now we're going to get the decor panel out. We're going to cut it to height or scribe it to the floor. And then once that's scribed, we can then scribe it to the wall to the right depth. So let's get on with that. So in this particular instance, because obviously this is spaced off the cabinet, I can't just draw a line along top of the cabinet. So what I've done, because we've got the big hollow bit there which we're going to fill up, all I've done is I've levelled the decor panel and I've just marked the top of this bit here where it's touching the panel. So all I've got to do is measure that down and cut that exactly off, flip it and slide it in, and then obviously we've got to cut around the pipes and what have you. But yeah, we've got to cut around those with a few pipes, but that's a minor inconvenience. So I'm going to put this on the table, cut it to height, we'll spin it, and then we can start looking at the scribe situation. Easier said than done. And there we go. So it was a very, very minor scribe because these walls run out quite a bit at this end. So it's only a little bit off at the top, but then as you can see, as it goes down, the gap opens up and that's just a clean edge. And Wrens do allow for scribing, but it is what it is. This wall is really bad, and I can show you by how bad it is if you look at this. So as you can see, pretty good, almost bang on, a minuscule amount out. And then you put this on here, you can get it on there, and then you can just see, I don't know if it can make any sense of that, but it's leaning over, there's a massive gap behind there as well as it goes down as well. But yeah, is what it is, as they say. So now I'm going to look at working on this bridging unit and try and get that in place and box in all these pipes and stuff, and then we'll just go from there really. So stay tuned guys. So this is where obviously where the fridge has got to go, and we've got a little bridging unit which we've got right there, but I need to get it in here. It's going to be at least a 600 gap. So I've set my laser line to top of cabinet, and then obviously this is upside down and round the wrong way, so this will get flipped. So this is the back edge really, but you obviously we've got the free edge, the clean edge on the inside, so when the machine's out you can't, no point having it on the other side. So I've pencil marked on my laser line now, so that's my scribe line, so I can pull that out, whip that off, flip it round, and I don't think we're going to be doing a lot of scribing, maybe a little bit round the pipes, but that's going to be about it because of the way that wall is bowing backwards, you know, and the way the walls run. I don't think we're going to have any issues there, but we'll see in a minute. Okay, so like I said, I'm not going to go mad scribing this yet because I don't think I need to with the little amount I took off this side. So what we're going to do now is we're going to try and mount or put this in place. So what I've done is I use these little white blocks which will create like a bridge, which will bridge over it, and we will clamp them, and that should hold them in place, and then we can look at scribing and infill down that side. And just like that, she's in, and she is, actually I didn't actually, probably should have even checked to be fair, she's pretty damn good in my eyes. So all I've got to do now is put a filler in down there to hide all that, and it'll look all lovely. But what I'm going to do, because we've got such a small gap here, this decor panel, when I fit this one, I'm just going to rip off enough to come off there to go in here to create an infill. So then that'll be another job done. So we're going to screw that cabinet to this decor panel and lose the clamps, and then I can start looking at scribing a piece in down there. Alright, bridging unit is now in place. I've got to put the caps on the covers on and this, that and the other. So now we can look at scribing a filler in there, making sure that's dead plumb, make sure there's no bows or anything in it, and then we can scribe a piece in there then. Right, we cut a bit of panel from here, from this point to the outside edge, give or take, obviously within a couple of mil because it runs in and out. Now normally I would just use an offcut of this material to get the width, but because it's so flush here, obviously I'm not going to get an accurate gauge, so I'm going to use my compass, already set to the rough thickness of the material that we are scribing, as you can see there. So all we're going to do, up the top, make sure the point of the compass is touching the wall, all the way down. And then I come up from the bottom. I'll just double check that because I know here somewhere it jumped off. There we go. And that's it, that's going to be our scribe line all the way down. So we'll whip that off, take the bulk off with the track saw, and then plane it to fit. There we go, so she's not fixed, but she's scribed. It's not my best scribe. It's a bit gappy in places, but it is a bit of a mess. It needs to go over a tad more. But so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to dismantle this piece, take this off, pull this panel out, attach this to this with some strong L brackets and some glue, and then we'll put some L brackets down that back edge as well, just to make sure this doesn't move. And then that'll be that bit done. Another job done off the list. There we go. That is now in. It needs a little bit of something down there. I might get some anthracite silicone or something and silicone that. Put an L bracket at the top there, maybe some sort of a bracket down the bottom, just to make sure that it doesn't wiggle around. And then we're going to latex that section, the floor. Put some latex in there so that the fridge can just flow in rather than trying to patch up the floor. But that's this side almost done really. I mean, I'm going to have a go at getting the dishwasher in next. So the dishwasher will be my next job. Try and figure that area out. And then we can look at worktops potentially tomorrow. Start getting them cut and in situ. Yeah, so it's taking shape, guys. Even with the panel, the missing base unit. But we must crack on. See you in a bit. So, dishwasher is in. We've got our bridging piece. It won't go any higher than that because there's a handleless track that's got to go through there. So we've had to cut it out, notch it out there. We've notched out for the plinth down there. We've put a back brace in there. And we also put a little back brace in there just as a bit of support for the worktop once we start cutting. And we're looking at the wall units at the moment, just working it all out. So that's the corner unit. And then you've got a 200, then you've got the 800, then you've got a 250. Now, as some of you may remember, on the drawings, this unit is butted up to here, and they've put a filler in there. But if I do that, it puts it all off centre. So at the moment, I've got the 800 centre. So this is the hob. There's going to be an extractor recirculating in there. So if I move that over, I can't do it because it's one-handed. But as you can imagine, so at the moment you've got here, between there and there, you got what, 160 mil, and then you got, don't forget we're going to this one here. So then from that one to there is 150 mil. So we've got 10 mil tolerance. I'm not sure, this may have moved, but as it is, you've got nearly 50 mil there. You can't really see it, just over 50 mil, and in there you've got just over 50 mil. So by putting a filler there and a filler there, it will centre that box and make it look a lot cleaner. Now if you look at the plan, sorry guys, where are we? Wall units, here we go. See, they've butted them all up. Obviously they've got decal panels to go in as well, obviously, which will make the gap, the boxing a little bit smaller. But they put a big filler there, and obviously if you look at the drawing here, you can see that's the end of the cabinet. See if I would highlight it for you. So you got, there we go. So you got end of cabinet there and end of cabinet there. Now you can see blatantly that gap and that gap, that's much bigger. So that's not going to be centre. This here will not be centre to the hob. So the way I'm doing it, by keeping that tight there with a filler, that one tight that side with a filler, it will centre that and make it look a lot neater and cleaner. But that's Wren's all over for you. But we're looking good now. As you know, we've already finished over there. We've poured a bit of latex in there just so that when the fridge goes in, it will sit a bit flatter. It's not perfect, but it's better than it was. Dishwasher is in, as you know. I might have just said that, I did. But yeah, and we've also now shortened that waste pipe, and we've done a water test. So we've cut it. Obviously, it went out there originally, so we've shrunk it by about 1.5 feet. So it was good nearly 50 mil we shrunk that by. So now we can cut just a notch out the top of the cabinet, and it won't be such a, it won't be so bloody ugly inside the cabinet, and we maximise storage in that cabinet. So all I'm going to do, I will cut out a little slot out here. We won't put a fixing in that point because we won't get it with the pipe there. So we'll fix it to the unit and put a fixing there, and that'll be fine. And then that'll all be enclosed and hidden. I'm going to pump a load of expanding foam in that hole just to stop any drafts coming through. There's not really much more I can do, so that's another room next door. We'll fill it up a little bit, make it look a bit tidier. But that's where we've got to so far. It's 2:30, so I'm going to pump a load of foam in. And we've got a nice start for tomorrow now. Tomorrow we're going to concentrate, get these wall units up, finished, and maybe make a start on the worktops. Friday, finish the worktops. Can't finish them, but we can get them cut with the holes, the hob cut, the sink cut, get the sink and the dishwasher up and running, get the oven and the microwave up and running, get the fridge in here. That way then when I pull off Friday for a few days while we wait for this corner unit, they've got a working kitchen potentially. That's the plan. So stay tuned guys, see you in a bit. So where was I? Just had the client come out and have a chat. So yeah, so they will go back up tomorrow. We're going to run the sockets in for there, run the fuse spur over to feed the extractor fan. Yeah, doors will all go on up there. We can run the cornice through. There is no light pelmet on this because obviously that's your handheld there. So if you was to put a light pelmet on that came flush with your doors, you wouldn't be able to wouldn't be able to open the doors. There is 2 doors on that. But because there's a massive extractor fan going in there, it's not really going to be much for storage. So that'll be that. We do have a bit of a, I don't know how we're going to work the oven out, because as you can see, we've got this big old gap here, and we're still not quite high enough. So there's about a 30 mil filler, but they haven't provided anything. So, and if I rip something down, there isn't anything the right width, if you know what I mean. All the decal panels are oversized. They're 650. So whatever I do, I can have a nice edge on one, but I won't have a finished edge on the other. So we need to address that, figure out what's going on. Potentially speak to Wren, find out if there's supposed to be a filler, because we can't find one here. I mean, you can't find one normally means there isn't one, because that's just how it is. Yeah, so tomorrow will be finish the wall units, throw some worktops in provisionally, cut the sink out, cut the hob out. Potentially I could finish the left hand side and do the joint, but I don't think I will. I might just get a sink temporarily working so that I can just disconnect it, lift it out, do that corner unit when I come back, then drop all the units in and then do all the worktop bolts properly. But it's a tricky one. I'm not sure how it's going to work. But that's a problem for tomorrow. But anyway, that's where we've got to, guys. I think we've had a pretty reasonable day. So we've got all that in. We're all around there. Most of that's in. And we've got all of that in as well. So we're not looking too bad. So come back tomorrow, find out how we get on. News on that corner unit isn't looking good. It's looking like it is going to be middle of next week, Tuesday, hopefully. We'll figure it out. But anyway, don't forget, like, share, follow, subscribe to that YouTube channel, hit that like and notification icon. If you're on any of the other apps, guys, please like, share and follow. And if you want the full daily video, get over to the YouTube channel. And we'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early. Bye-bye. Okay, so I'm going to call it a day today. I've got up what I want to get up. I would have liked to have got a few more units up, but it's getting late and the old noggin's getting a little bit fried, and I've got to make a shopping list of some bits and pieces we need to pick up for tomorrow. But we didn't do badly, considering that we were a whole unit missing. So we've got that wall unit up. We've got that wall unit up. That is sitting dead centre as it is. and my tape measure. So with my plan, we're doing a filler either side. It will give us 100mm that side and just over 100mm that side with a 50mm filler, pretty much both sides. How difficult was that? Why couldn't the Wren designers think of that? It is bewildering sometimes, but there you go.